A very warm welcome to each of you and thank you for taking time out to catch us live. At SixSox, we believe that each one of us has the capability to be a winner. We welcome all of you with open arms as our goal is to serve, learn, share, and reach beyond. In addition, we are here for you with any assistance that you or your organization might need on a group or individual basis. We are also open to the idea of a virtual classroom, and you can be assured we shall provide you quality to the best of our capabilities. Today, we begin our third cycle of Six Sock Saturdays on the theme Excellence. Our speaker for the day believes that sharing is caring, an enthusiastic individual who thinks that learning is a constant process. He has more than 3 decades of experience, and during this period, he has devoted his time to the development of others as well as helping them realize their potential. He believes that learning and sharing are two sides of a coin, and the more we share, the more we learn. He is an example of an inspiring leader who walks the talk. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Nagabhushan Balaji with his talk titled How Far Will You Run?
Thank you so much, Deepa. That was a wonderful introduction. And it's splendid to come back and speak to the audience again. Let me just share my screen. Give me a second. As you have noticed, our title of the speech today is How Far Will You Run? And I'm sure everybody here must have run the race of life. So let me take you through some of the illustrations, some examples, some stories which I have for you. We start running very early in our life. Right from the time we are born, and then we learn how to walk and run, we start running to show off that we can run. And as we move on, we start telling the other children, come, compete with me, I can run faster than you. And then we start telling our parents, come on, look at me, see how fast I can run. As we move on, the speed in life picks up. We start running for our education, we start running for things which we want to achieve in our life, and then we start running the race of life intellectually. Eventually, one day we come to a stage where we start thinking, we need a break. Do we need it? I don't know. But then we don't stop. We keep running because as we grow up, we have a family to take care of, and then we have children with whom we need to start running too. And as we move along, we have grandchildren. And a day comes along when our grandchildren start telling us, come on, run with me. And we tell them, no, can you go a little slow because I can't run as fast as you. In fact, you can wait for me, or you can go to that stretch where I can look at you and I will reach you very soon. But then finally, we say we are done. We need to stop because a day comes when we can't run anymore. Let me take you through a small story of some of my friends. I know some of you know this person, very humble person when I used to go for meetings. He never knew something called sports or running. And suddenly one day I get a picture saying, I'm going for a run. And he started running 3 kilometers. From 3, he went to 10. From 10, he went to 21. And from 21, he went to the marathon. He started running marathons so easily that eventually he went on running marathons in most of the parts of the world. And till date, he has been running. Now, while he was doing it, parallelly, somebody else got inspired from the same troop. And that was my friend Murli. So while Santosh was running faster everywhere, Murli started joining him. Murli also started showing off, saying, yes, I can run marathons. And both Murli and Santosh started running quite a few marathons together. They started inspiring people. And whom did they inspire? One of our very close friends, Nagarajan, who was above 50. And he said, if you guys can run, why can't I? And he started off with 3 kilometers, then went for 10. And then he wanted to surpass as they moved along, and he continued running. But all three together inspired one person, and that was Murali's son, Avinash. Now, these four I will never forget because I used to get many pictures of these people running marathons, running long distances. But then I used to wonder, Why are they running? Are they measuring in what they are doing? Are they running because they want to run? Are they running because they want to show the world that it's competition and they can do it and they can run better than others? Or are they running to excel themselves in the field which they have taken into? It was passion for them that they started running. We all run different races in our life. It's not physical running. It's a lot of things we need to run for. And many a times we start thinking of how do we measure them? While we are running physically, we start measuring them in kilometers or miles. The miles which we are on, the number of steps which we have put in for walk, or probably the number of steps we have taken for our run. Or do we measure ourselves in the number of quality certificates we have got, in the number of educations we have got? What are we measuring ourselves into? Life events. There are lots of events in our life which we can measure as we keep on growing in our life. Do we measure things with money, the amount of money we have earned, where we were and where we are today? Or do we measure ourselves in terms of awards and accolades? In all these things, we need to understand one thing. Whatever we do in life, whichever race we are running for in our life, we need to keep reviewing. We need to keep looking at
There was a
what we
song, I
have
don't
done
know why.
in our life. So as we review, we need to think of what we have done in the past and what we are going to do in the future.
Please let me listen to that.
One of the things which I wish to share with you is the bond which the children have with the grandparents. And I know quite a few in the audience would think about this. Why is it that our children get close to our parents faster than they do with us? And why is it that they're so close to them than to us? It's the story in everybody's life. We as parents want to make sure that our children excel in life. We don't realize that we are spending so much time in telling them what they do, what they need to do, rather than sitting with them and loving them. But once we have finished that part and we become grandparents, we suddenly start realizing it's the second time over that we are becoming parents. We need to take care of things in a better manner. Wherever we probably might have erred in our life, we need to rectify. We need to start thinking of what we can do better. And that's the reason we start getting close to our grandparents. Let me talk about myself. I used to be very close to my grandmother for one reason. She used to prepare delicacies. The savories which she prepared, the things which she prepared and kept in those big, big boxes in the past, that used to attract me. And I used to go and sit next to her and start talking to her saying, give me that, give me this. I want to eat that. I want to eat this. To that extent, one day she decided that whatever she prepares, she'll keep a separate box for me. The love, the affection which she had is now showing in my daughter. Look at her sitting next to her grandparents, enjoying her life. The love which she gets from her grandparents is immense. I also go back to one of the stories of my life. In my younger days, this was my chariot. I used to go out on the cycle wherever I wished to. But then very importantly, I used to carry the entire provision, the entire things which my house needed on this bicycle. As I went to buy things and as I started riding this bicycle home, many a times I used to have packets falling off, the bags cutting off. There was provisions lying all around the ground. And I used to start thinking, what can I do to make this better? And one day I started tying them in a better manner. I started putting up ropes everywhere on my cycle. And to that extent that when I reached home, nothing would have fallen off. I'm very lucky that my father did not have an allowance and did not create a negative allowance for spilling up things. I started excelling in riding bicycles with a lot of stuff on it. And I enjoyed doing it. That means as I moved along, as I gained experience in my life, I started excelling in what I did. Those small little things gave me a lot of happiness. And I'm sure the same thing for you. We should all remember that if we are born poor, it's not our mistake. But if we die poor, it certainly is. We need to die rich. And when I talk about rich, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about those jewels which you can amass in your life. The jewels of learning, the jewels of knowledge, the jewels of family, the jewels of a lot of things which you have gone through in your life, the experience, and the small little things which you did, which eventually you started excelling in. Those are the jewels which make you rich as you move along in life. So I do not want to die poor. I wish to die rich, and I'm sure most of you here do the same. While I was amassing the jewels, I enjoyed life too. One of the things I still remember is when I was in school, I just had one pair of dress. And I used to wear this, go to the school, come back, wash, dry it up. And the next morning, I used to iron it perfectly. I didn't want a single crease left out because I loved doing it. Where did I learn it? I used to go with my father's clothes to the iron shop. And my father used to tell me, give it to him and come back so that you can do other things in life. I used to tell him, no, I'll stand there and watch because I loved that iron box with coal and that fume which was coming out from that coal while he was ironing, and his shirts being ironed impeccably. And that's where I learned. To that extent, when I started doing this every day in my life, my father started calling me Alankara Vidyarthi. That means, that was in Kannada, that actually means that I'm here for showing off and not for learning. But then I started learning too. To that extent that even today in my life, I love ironing my clothes. I actually iron my office going dress, my shirts, because I want it to look very, very good. While I'm doing this, I've also become somebody who is the Iron Man of my daughter. It's not the Marvel Iron Man which you're thinking of. It's the Iron Man who irons her clothes whenever he can, because she just dumps it on me and goes with the least bit of worry that she will have problems while wearing them. So my dear friends, I know a lot of people here cannot do great things in life. All of us are not destined to do all the great things, but we can do those small things in a great way. We can learn to do those small things in a great way. If somebody tells you, just align that carpet properly, we can actually go in and try to align that carpet in the way they expect. If we want to keep our books properly, let's start keeping our books in a most tidy way. If we are having our coffee or tea in the morning, let's do those small little things by picking up those cups and going up to the kitchen, cleaning them up, or at least leaving them in the sink. Those small little things which we do become a great way and help everybody as we move along. Who do you think this is? This is me in my cricketing days. I used to enjoy playing cricket right from my childhood. I used to run away from my home. Wherever somebody tells me that there's a match going on, I used to go after that ground to that extent that if somebody comes looking for me, my parents had this standard slogan to say, he must be in some ground, just go and have a look. I used to go sit there and watch, and that's how I learned my cricket. But while learning cricket, I also thought that there's something else I need to learn. These fours, these sixes, these singles which people run, why do they do it? And then I thought I need to learn from the basics. So what did I do? I started sitting next to the scorer and I started learning how to score because every run mattered, right? And I need to know how actually people win matches. How do they score so that they know where to get at? What is their goal? I went up to that extent of learning how to score and eventually became an excellent cricket scorer. To that extent, my friends after the match used to take this scorebook and think about that match. And they used to feel as if that match was being played right in front of their eyes. It was those reminiscences that I created in their mind by scoring perfectly each and every ball which they faced. We keep running in life, and while we keep running, we also need to know that we need to review what we have done, where we were, where we are today, what are the mistakes we have committed, and what are those things which we can do to better our lives. We need to assess, and while we are assessing our position, we need to start refining. If we don't refine, if we don't change, we are still the same. As they say, if we keep continuing, if we keep doing what we are doing, we'll keep getting what we are getting. So we need to change as we move on. Eventually, we move towards the path of excellence. We win the races, but we also need to remember that in the field of excellence, there is no finishing line. So we need to keep on doing this time and again. I remember the story of Walt Disney. He is the one who has given us a lot in life to cheer about. Right from my childhood, I have been watching Walt Disney movies, Walt Disney characters. To that extent, I always wanted to go and see the Walt Disney Studios, the place which he built for all of us to go. And I know that every child, every parent, as of now, as well as in the future, will only think of Walt Disney, the Tom and Jerry characters which he built, which are great things for our life to think about. When Walt Disney was in the hospital, something happened. Whatever you do it well. That's what he says. And in the hospital, somebody came and asked him, now that you are about to leave this world, what happens to your Disneyland, your dream which you had built out? Walt Disney told him, can you look at the ceiling? It is still there. I'm actually lying down here and I'm looking at the ceiling where the plans have been laid out perfectly. Walt Disney passed away, but his dream did not. Very soon, Disneyland came into being because of his family. And we still enjoy going there every time. And if we can get a chance to go, we will definitely go there many times more. So he said, whatever you do it well. Do it so well that when people see you do it, they would want to come back to you again and again. And that is the hallmark of excellence. So my dear friends, you have heard the story of running. Everybody runs a different race in life. Some run because they want to run. Some of them run because life makes them run. Some of them run because they have their dreams, their goals to fulfill. But whatever you do in life, don't stop. Because as we run in life, we learn by experience. We become excellent because of the experience we have gained in. And all of you here, including me, and to the people who are listening, keep running. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Balaji, for this interesting session. For those of you with us today, if there are any unanswered questions, please write back to us on our email ID and we shall revert back to you with speaker's response. We thank you for having attended this session. Always remember, SixSox Minds is here to serve, learn, share, and reach beyond. We are also here to help you and your organization identify talents and help nurture them. We listen to address your requirements to the best of our abilities. You can reach out to us on sixsoxminds@gmail.com for this and more. We look forward to having you all next week too. On that note, wish you all a great day ahead from all of us at SixSox Minds.